Greetings everybody, my name is Tommy the Game Master and welcome to my channel. Now I'm a huge Kingdom Hearts fan and after 6.5 years of waiting, we finally get a new full-fledged Kingdom Hearts game, and this time on consoles with Kingdom Hearts 3. Was it worth the wait or is this a Kingdom flop? Well, let's take a look and find out, shall we? I might do a story video when I have time to run through this game again. I am going to try my hand at a few riff videos because some of the game cutscenes, Kingdom Hearts 3 is just rife for some jokes and to poke fun of some of the cornball antics here. But I'm not going to talk about the plot other than Sora is out to gain the power of waking so he can save the 3 missing Keyblade wielders and so that they can become the 7 Guardians of Light and stop Master Xehanort from finding his way into Kingdom Hearts and ending everything. That said, I will tell you what I thought overall of the story. Overall, this one handled its narrative a lot better than the ones in the past, but that doesn't mean it's perfect. If the story narrative in Kingdom Hearts outright pisses you off, this won't change it. That said, it does resolve everything from the 5 games that preceded it in a very satisfying way while dropping loose threads along the way that will start another arc in the Kingdom Hearts saga. That said, the most frustrating parts of the narrative might be the way it's structured. Expect this for 3/4 of the game. Sora goes to a new world, meets and befriends the protagonist. Heartless show up, a member of the organization follows, a brief discussion of what they're up to with Sora, vowing to stop it happens. Rest of the story in the movie plays out, and then either before or after the world boss fight, the organization member pops up again to taunt him one last time, and the two get into a philosophy debate, and some of them this time around are actually interesting as they get more into what the darkness is. And if you don't understand it, it's more based in Eastern philosophy. Unlike Western philosophy, darkness isn't necessarily evil. It's bad, but it's not evil. It's just a part of life. Just like in order to enjoy the day, you need night, or a person who's never known sadness can't truly understand what it's like to be happy type thing. Anyways, after the debate, the organization members disappear. We get an epilogue to the Disney World, and then like Dream Drop Distance, we go to the B story that is actually the main narrative, following Riku and Mickey's quest to find Aqua. This can be frustrating in some ways, as those who want the answers for the last 5 games are going to have to wait until all the Disney worlds are completed to see any satisfying conclusion, while those who are there for the Disney fan service will have to wait through 15 to 20 minutes worth of cutscenes to get to the next world. Now the good news is, with the exception of Tangled, which is just showing the movie, throwing in our 3 main characters in the story, the other worlds were smart, either adopting the movie into a smaller, more enjoyable format like Pirates 3, which you will spend the majority of that stage not following the movie's narrative, but rather playing Assassin's Creed Black Flag Kingdom Hearts Edition. Or they realize that a movie like Frozen already fits the Kingdom Hearts narrative, and therefore having Sora help Anna while having debates with Larxene can easily fit into that movie's story. The rest of them, however, have new stories that are kind of like sequels. For example, in Monster Inc. has Sora visiting Mike and Sully after the events of the movie when trouble breaks out during one of Boo's visits, and as Sora helps them out to figure out what went wrong in their factory. These original stories I found far more interesting and full of surprises than the world that I just got stuck with the movie story. I should also note that there are some arcs in development that give insight on Sora's personality beyond the fact that he is the protagonist. You see, the 3 of them are friends, not just people on a journey with same goals. You see them rattle each other's cages and pick on each other a bit. You see them get frustrated. One of my favorite scenes happens in the Frozen stage as Donald, Sora, and Goofy get completely blasted out of Elsa's mountain a second time, and hearing their reaction is hilarious.
Good thing snow's so soft. We could do this 100 times.
No! What's that?
Oh, yup. You sure you don't want to go again?
No, thank you!
Even though it's very frustrating as the player to have to track up the mountain again. You see a lot more of this in the game, and the fact that with the exception of Frozen and Toy Story worlds, in which they are justifiable reason to just have our leads in that stage, each world is now populated and lived in. You go to a town and an area full of people, and you're going to actually encounter the townsfolk. Yeah, remember Agrabah and how empty it was outside of Heartless? You're not going to see that. You go to Port Royal, there are people. The city of Thebes is populated with people. Hell, even Twilight Town looks and feels like a real town during a busy weekend, and I just love it. While the story is not perfect, it still gets bogged down with some of the philosophizing when it goes on a bit too long. And not to give away too much, but there are parts of the end of the game where Deus Ex Machina is way overused. Still, I'm up for a Kingdom Hearts 4 or a Kingdom Hearts 3.2578 over Pi, an incoherent chapter, whichever one comes first. The gameplay in Kingdom Hearts 3 is also much improved, but not without a few problems. First, let's get to the best thing, the worlds. I already said it, they now feel lived in, but now there's much more open and vastness to their terrain. The game doesn't hold your hand like 2, and it definitely feels more open, and it also avoids the platforming frustration of the original game. Because I am now allowed to explore these areas, I now feel like I'm in the world of the movies, and I just love it. All except for one small problem that I hope Square Enix handles in a small update. The map in this game, well, it kinda sucks, and it sucks a lot. What do I mean by that? Well, with a huge world, I wouldn't mind being able to view the map full screen, put markers, and an idea of where to go. Getting through the tutorial level of Thebes almost broke me because I haven't been so lost and confused in a Kingdom Hearts game since the first time through the jungle level in the original over 16 years ago. Again, a small patch let me see the same area full screen, put markers on it, and the problem just goes away after that. Now, let's discuss the combat and the way they upgraded that. Okay, first off, there are huge changes in the way the Keyblades operate, and the way they do it, and I just love all these changes. Each Keyblade is made different because of it. What's the change? Well, remember in Birth by Sleep the character transformations that can happen by using magic and special moves? Well, you get that here, but rather the magic, it depends on which Keyblade you have equipped. Sora's Keyblade might turn into a hammer, or a shield, or my personal favorite, mechanical claws that can then be transformed into a yo-yo. These transformations are varied and they change the way Sora operates and moves each time it happens. And to make things even more juicier, Sora can change his Keyblades on the fly. You can store up to 3 in reserve, and you can upgrade them at Moogle shops now. So no more putting that Keyblade away that you might have liked because you got a newer one with better stats. Also, each Keyblade has a unique shot lock, so overall, learning how to use each Keyblade is new and fun and very dynamic. On top of that, you can also unlock special moves by using magic in combat, so fire so many times and you can throw out a special move like a powerful Fire Azah attack. It's a fun way of doing the magic system. Also new is if you hit a special Heartless in battle, you can unlock a Disney attraction attack. It can be a Space Blaster game, or a water ride, or even a pirate ship. These are all pretty fun, even if they are slightly overpowered. And then finally you have a decent summon system in this game for a change. In order to use summons, you must use a full magic bar, but it refills your health plus all your teammates' health, and having Simba here blow fire all around the arena I found incredibly helpful. Some of the other summons like Wreck-It Ralph and The Little Mermaid, not quite as useful, but I did overuse Simba a lot and kinda enjoyed them. But all of these things also come at a price. The game is just way too easy. Not counting a special boss fight that is unlocked after beating the game, the only time I died was on a gummy ship mission because I didn't bother to upgrade my gummy ship. Or the pirate stage because I didn't bother to level up my ship. No regular boss fight or combat situation did I ever come close to dying. And then I also had a Moogle coin, which is a free auto life effect attached to it. The game is really easy, and I wish I had played through it on proud mode instead of standard my first time, because this game offers no Dark Riku moments or Roxas fights that really challenge you. And because of that, it can be a bit unfulfilling, which is why a lot of people who are the hardcore fans are kind of complaining about it. I think it's just was too easy for them to get through and they feel like they've been shorted. As far as post-game content goes, it does have a fair bit more than the PS2 version of Kingdom Hearts. You have battle gate fights, Mickey symbols to find, and you can also go through the Caribbean stage and engage in naval battles to upgrade your ship for various rewards and unlockable journal entries that give us information on what the next chapter of Kingdom Hearts is going to pertain. Overall, I did enjoy the gameplay, just a little bit too easy. Square Enix needs to add just a bit more challenge to it. Hopefully there will be a critical mode added in the future. Graphically speaking, the game is beautiful, using the Unreal Engine this time to capture the new CGI look of all these worlds. While I am a bit disappointed that we don't see many 2D animated worlds, Hercules and this time even briefer Winnie the Pooh stage is all that we see when it comes to the traditional animation style. Still, I have to admire the craftsmanship that went into it. Not only does the game look exactly like the movies, but the worlds now look lived in, and they even changed the way Sora looks and the overall feel of the game to fit each world. I'm not just talking about some of the cool costumes Sora sometimes dons in order to fit in, but the overall feel of the game as it goes super realistic in the Caribbean stage, and it looks a lot different from any of the other stages. Also, the graphical upgrade gets rid of one of my complaints about Kingdom Hearts 2, and that's just how stuck in time, for lack of a better phrase, the world feels. Since the Lion King stage, for example, was stuck in the time that was at the end of the film, we only saw the gray overcast skies that existed at the end of the film, which is far from what the lush watercolor visuals that existed in the rest of the film. This doesn't happen. Here the pirate stage has a vibrant blue sky, and San Francisco even changes from day to night to fit the mood of the scenes of that world. In the end, the world just pulls you in, and the action and animation for the most part remains smooth throughout my entire adventure. The way this game looks and feels is just amazing. Okay, let's talk about the sound. The soundtrack for the most part is good. It wasn't quite as memorable as some of the older games, and I mean that for both good and bad reasons. The music is now a lot more dynamic, and they changed stage themes. So no more only each stage has 2 themes, a normal and a battle theme. Instead, there can be 2 to 3 themes per stage, and they all sound good. Let's talk about the voice acting. Most of the previous characters' voices return with a few recasts. While Haley Joel Osment's Sora does sound a bit off as he ages, I do believe he turns in a really good performance here, and an even better one is Vanitas, this time throwing in a guttural growl to his voice that makes the character sound a lot more menacing, and not just Sora with a deeper voice.
But even with all this negative emotion, my heart is still incomplete. I need something else. The half of me that sleeps on inside of your heart.
Vanitas!
Ventus.
We also have David Gallagher doing Riku, and a few other variations of said characters that I thought was good. But let's talk about my thoughts on the 2 big recasts that caused some controversy, Kairi and Xehanort's. While Alison Stoner has done Kairi plenty of times in the past, usually for the big games they get Hayden Panettiere, and a lot of people were upset that Disney didn't even talk to Hayden, the original voice actor. That said, this isn't a Yuri from Tales of Vesperia issue, and I'll talk about that when I get ready to review that game. Rather, it's about trying to find a way to make sure Kairi's voice remains consistent, because her original voice actor doesn't seem to be available half the time, and has even said she wants to retiring from acting altogether. So, say you're Disney, you have a choice, the original who isn't available half the time, or her replacement who has always been ready and shows an interest in doing the character. Which would you pick if you're aiming to keep the voice consistent in the future? So I don't blame them for making that switch permanent.
What's wrong?
Huh? Nothing. Sorry.
Lee.
What? I am. A letter?
Yep.
To Sora?
Technically, yes. But I won't send it. It's more for me.
Kairi is different, but I do like it. Now under Redker Har voices Xehanort. Unlike, say, Christopher Lee, who has always had a voice double in Corey Burton and has had that for decades, no such voice double exists for Leonard Nimoy, and Howard's performance again is even more different than Nimoy, and I do feel a bit sorry for Howard. Here he was stepping into some iconic shoes, and again, his take on the character is very different. Why Nimoy did a role of between a sympathetic old man and an absolute madman schemer, Howard's voice comes more off as an evil Zen master who you probably don't want to go digging in his backyard, or else he'll uncover all the bodies. It took me a while to adjust, but in the end I think he does a good job bringing the character to life. Would I have preferred Nimoy's take on the character? Absolutely! But since Leonard Nimoy unfortunately passed away in between this game and Dream Drop Distance, there's nothing that can be done, unfortunately, and Howard does a decent job standing in.
Legend has it that darkness once covered the world. We know so little about the Keyblade War, only that it was just the beginning.
My complaints with Kingdom Hearts 3 are for the most part nitpicks, no classic worlds, and a bit too easy when it comes to the difficulty. But I do believe it's also why a lot of complaints are made about this game. No classic Disney characters to get nostalgic about for people my age, and no real challenge to make it feel like an accomplishment can make it seem a bit empty, unfortunately. The game does need a harder, difficult setting, but other than that, the combat was fun, the worlds are more alive than ever, and overall I really did enjoy my experience with Kingdom Hearts 3, and highly recommend getting it.